Here we have the first of 4 sections that need to be completed to generate an alert off our system. And this first section is the incident report. And the first drop down that we have is your hot list. So we can either list a vehicle as local or as global. To list a vehicle as local simply means that the alert that is generated would only go out if the vehicle went through one of your cameras. To list a vehicle as global means that the alert will be generated on any one of our cameras across South Africa. So we're just going to select global for this one. Hotlist type is your next section, and again it's a drop down, and one of these options does need to be selected. The vehicle that you're listing was either used in crime, it is a cloned vehicle, it's a stolen vehicle, it could be a test vehicle, or it's a watch and monitor vehicle. The next section is probably the most important, and it's the priority setting that is related to that alert, and it's one of either 1, 2, or 3. So to list a vehicle as a priority 1, we do require some additional information. We would require an SAPS case number. We would require the station that that number is related to, and further down one of the other sections we would require a victim's contact details. And the reason for this is that if that generates an alert and that vehicle is stopped by SAPS, they need to have enough information to follow up on why that vehicle was stopped. So that becomes very critical for us. To list a vehicle as a priority 2 is simply an alert where we don't have all the information to keep it as a priority 1. And then obviously priority 3 is your test vehicles and your suspicious vehicles, vehicles that have not been used or have not committed a crime but do need to be watched and monitored. Now obviously there are circumstances where a vehicle has just been stolen or a vehicle has just been hijacked and we don't have the rest of the information. And we still encourage you in those circumstances to list it as a priority 1, but just bear in mind that within 24 hours, you will be getting a phone call from our call center, our validation center, where we are trying to now add, and hopefully now a case has been opened, and we can then add that information into the alert. Next, we have the suggested response. This is the action that needs to be taken once that alert goes out. Could be contact SAPS on 10111. It could be contact your local security number, whatever you choose to put in there. But we do suggest that you write something into that suggested response area. Then we have the case or incident number, and directly related to that is the type. And again, we've got 4 options. It's either a SAPS case number, it could be an IR number, an incident report number. MX case number is something that we as SNIPR use, or it could be your local security OB number, and one of those just needs to be selected. If you choose the SAPS case number, we would need to know which station the number is related to. So let's say that was Pinetown and the case number was 5432 end of the 9th month. If you have an investigating officer's details and his contact details, we have space there to fill that in. And again, that's just really helpful if we have that information. And then lastly, on this side of the form, we have a plus and the minus. That simply means that we can add more than one case number to a given alert. So you might have a SAPS case number and you want to add your own local OB number to that. You can do that just like that. And that then gets recorded. Here we have the second part of the details, crime details. Starting at the top again, we have a drop-down list, type of crime, and we just need to pick one. If it isn't exactly listed, we do have an other, and you can then put in the details of what that should be. Location speaks for itself. Where did the crime take place? Time of crime, by clicking, takes you to the choice of a date, which then takes you straight to an hour, which then takes you to 5-minute increments. and you just need to pick the one closest to the time of the crime. Number of suspects, self-explanatory, and then were they armed? And either we don't know, unknown, they were armed, or they were not armed. Very important for us to know that information. Then is there video footage? And if you just put a click mark in there, it will then appear, and there's space for a contact name, a cell phone number, and an email address, so that we can get hold of the person that has got extra footage if we so need to. And then lastly is the details of the crime. This is probably as important. Um, this is the flowery bits. This is everything of what actually took place, how it happened, any other additional information that might be relevant to us identifying the vehicle or giving us a heads up in terms of what the perpetrators are wanted for. So here we want as much detail as you can give us. The third section that needs to be completed is the contact information. Firstly, you will see the Hotlist details, and this will list however you have logged onto the system. So your username and password that you use to get into the system, that just allows us to keep track so that we know that it is you. Then we have reporter informer details, and it's very self-explanatory. We look for a name, an email address, and a contact number. This is the person who is giving you the information. It may be a control room, it may be a police officer, it may be a neighborhood watch person that is reporting something that has requested you to list this vehicle. If we find the vehicle, we would like to know who do we contact to get either more information or determine why that vehicle is wanted. And then in the case of hijacking or a stolen vehicle, or we want the victim's details. Who's the owner of that vehicle? Should we recover it? Who do we contact? Who owns that vehicle? We now get to the final part, which is dealing specifically with the wanted vehicle. You will see immediately the number plate that you typed in at the beginning will automatically appear. For the sake of this demonstration, I just put in a fictitious number plate, but that will automatically appear. Then we have a drop down again to pick up the make of the vehicle, and you just need to pick one. A model if you have it, color, very important. VIN number if you do have it, very, very helpful. And then distinguishing features. Does it have color-coded side mirrors? Does it have a tow bar? Are there tinted windows? Does it have a sunroof? Are there any dents and scratches that are visible on the vehicle? All these details can be put in here, and again are very, very helpful for us to identify that it is actually the correct vehicle that we're looking for. Then you can drag and drop your images. If you have a third-party images of the vehicle, if it's a stolen vehicle, it's always helpful to drop a picture so that we know exactly what we're looking for. And then you can also add a description to the image that you upload. And you can either drag and drop a file right here, or you can select the photo off your hard drive, and it will drop any number of images that you may have of the vehicle into this space. Only time that this will change is if you know that you're dealing with a cloned vehicle. We then have a duplicate where we can now load what the vehicle actually looks like, and you will immediately notice that the wanted vehicle will always have a red border around it, and the legitimate vehicle will have a green border around it. So the details that go into this right side will be the legitimate vehicle details. In other words, if that vehicle goes through a camera, it's not the wanted vehicle that we are looking for. And that completes the 4 sections. You then move to the bottom and you hit save, and immediately that vehicle is now live on the system, and if it goes through any one of our cameras, if it's listed on a global list, it will generate an alert.